Hello friends, and welcome to yet another reading vlog. Thank you so much for being here. We're going straight into this one because I forgot to charge my camera and I really want to film this intro part right now. So in this video, ideally, I want to read two books, and both of them are part of a fantasy series by Kaylee Smith. These books are obviously Phantasma and Enchantra. I thought, like, for the longest time, I thought this is a finished duology. Apparently, it is not. And the third book in this, I think it's like an interconnected standalones kind of a situation, but I'm not like entirely sure. I guess I will find out in this video. The third book in this series is going to be coming out, I think, sometime in September of this year. And I thought this is a great opportunity for me to finally catch up with this series because I know it was very popular a while ago. Also, if you hear something going off in this video, I wanted for the longest time a tamagotchi, and I finally got one. This is the tamagotchi paradise that I got, and as you can see, I also like crocheted a little case for it because it just helps with the grip of the device, and it also looks really cute. I also added these like leaves right here, and I'm really happy with it thus far. I had it for like 3 days maybe. And this morning, my first Tamagotchi ever evolved to its adult form, and so I hatched a new egg in the hopes that I will get Pochichi, because I really liked that character. The first one that I got, my adult Tamagotchi on this device, is Gemchi or Gemchichi. I don't know all of their names, but I will put a picture with it here on the screen. But yeah, if you hear something going off in this video, it has like a very obnoxious sound, and I like it, but just know that you might hear this Tamagotchi going off in this video. I have to wait for it to be, I think, like fully hungry to get Pochichi, and then I have to feed it like meat or something like that. But yeah, I will be also playing my Tamagotchi in this video. So let's read what Phantasma is about. So the blurb for this one says, "Welcome to Phantasma. There are only two rules to the game. Stay alive and don't fall in love." Well, we kind of already know where this is going, but okay. When Ophelia's sister disappears, very reminiscent of Caraval, there is only one way to save her. Ophelia must enter Phantasma, a deadly contest inside a haunted mansion, and claim its prize, a single wish. Phantasma is a maze of twisting corridors and lavish ballrooms of demons and temptations. Ophelia will face 9 challenges, each more dangerous than the last. There can only be one winner, and the other contestants will stop at nothing to eliminate their rivals. Every day the house creates new monsters, but just as Ophelia's fears threaten to overwhelm her, a mysterious stranger offers her a bargain. Charming, arrogant, and infuriatingly attractive, Blackwell claims he can guide her through the lethal trials ahead. All he asks in return is 10 years of her life. I think this also happened in Carval, maybe later on in the series, but this just like sounds very similar to that in my mind at least. But it's been a while since I read Carval, so I might be completely wrong. Ophelia knows she shouldn't trust him. Blackwell doesn't seem dangerous, but appearances. Am I saying that word wrong? Who knows? Appearances can be deceptive. Oh my god, what's going on? Deceptive. Appearances can be deceptive. Okay. Worse still, she feels a dark and irresistible attraction drawing them closer and closer. Her life is on the line, but in Phantasma, the only thing deadlier than losing the game is losing your heart. Okay, this sounds a bit cheesy thus far, but I was promised this is a dark romance fantasy kind of situation, so I guess we'll wait and see. But yeah, I want to start reading Phantasma now. Actually, let's just open the book and see what the first lines, what the layout of the book is. So this is the cover. I don't actually know what the skull is in reference of, but I might find out in this video. And there also seems to be like a heart necklace dangling from the skull, or like in close proximity to the skull. Some roses, I believe. And yeah, so there are a lot of chapters, so I think they're going to be on the shorter side. And we have, I see in the table of contents, a note from the author on OCD. Should I read this one now, or should I read it at the end? Let's see. I like to say that the idea of phantasma came to me all at once, hitting me like a ton of bricks one cloudy afternoon in November 2021, but truly my experience with obsessive compulsive disorder has been building to this story for a very long time. Okay, so I will not read this note further now because it is at the end of the book and it might spoil something relating to the characters or anything like that, but I am very interested to see how the OCD tendencies are portrayed in this book, because I think I mentioned it in like one other video here on the channel, but I recently found out, well, I kind of knew deep down in my soul that I had OCD, but recently I've been like officially diagnosed with it. And so yeah, I'm very curious of that aspect of the book. And it says, to those who've had to claw their way out of the dark and still choose to be a light in this world, I am proud of you. This is the dedication of this book. Then we have some content and trigger warnings. This work contains explicit sexual content and scenes with elements of horror, as well as in-depth depiction of obsessive compulsive tendencies, such as intrusive thoughts and compulsive tics. Okay, good to know. And then we have a hierarchy of paranormal beings. This is so cute and so fun. I love when we have these sort of like charts in books. The epigraph of this book is actually a quote from Orlando by Virginia Woolf. I really like this quote, actually. I think it's a reference to the title of the book, obviously. And then we have a prologue. The devil had a wicked mouth and a voice as smooth as bourbon, it says. I will go actually start reading this book now, and I will update you with my thoughts after I read some chapters and I can tell you more of Phantasma. So see you then.
We were sparks on quiet streets, two hearts finding where to meet. But life pulled us apart, left me talking to the dark. If I called you tonight, would it feel the same? Or have we both moved on to different names? Before the quiet and the scars, when the world felt small and your hands felt warm, take me back to the start, if only for a moment. I've been up since 3, scrolling back where we used to be, half truths in this late night chat, both of us knowing what a lie that. Funny how we talk like we're fine, but your name still lives in my rhyme. Take me back to the start, before the quiet and the scars. Take me back to the start, before the quiet and the scars. When the world felt small and your hands only for a moment. Take me back to the start, before the quiet and the scars. When the world felt small and your hands felt warm, take me back to the start, if only for a moment.
Hello again. It is later on in the same day, and I think my glasses are kind of dirty because I can't see very well, but it is later on in the same day, and I finished reading chapter 7 from Phantasma, so I am 10-ish% or so into the book. Let me check. 13%. So I am 13% into Phantasma. If my camera would want to focus, that would be great. I am just at the start of chapter 8. It is called Night 1 of Phantasma, and I felt like this is a good point to just like stop for a bit and update the vlog. So what I was not expecting, they are necromancers. Like their family, the Grimm family, I think they're called, they are necromancers. Their mom was a necromancer and she dies in the first chapter. Her name is Tessie, and we don't exactly know why she dies, but she just dies. And Ophelia, who is the eldest of the two daughters, has to perform this somewhat sacrificial ritual, and she has to go and inherit or like take her mom's power for herself. So she now has become the main kind of like necromancer of the family, and their family has been known in the New Orleans scene for their necromantic services, if you will. Like they can communicate with the dead and they see ghosts and spirits and stuff like that. So it started very, very strongly with the death of their parent, and now we find out that obviously Ophelia has to take on this role of matriarch of the family, or like the role of the adult in the family who's responsible and who gets things sorted out and who takes care of things and stuff like that. And then on the other side, so we have Ophelia, the adult responsible one. We have Genevieve, who actually I don't know if that's how you pronounce that name in English, but Genevieve, she is the younger of the sisters. She is the freer one. She's a free spirit. She wants to travel the world. She is very animated, and she also like seems to be very happy and sure on herself, and she's just basically like the total opposite of Ophelia. Also Ophelia, like very early on, you can hear in her head how her compulsions manifest. It's basically this voice in her head, like she's aware of the fact that it's not real, that only she can hear that voice because it's literally like in her head. And she has all of these tics and compulsions to do certain things a certain amount of time and stuff like that, which is something that I deeply relate to. But yeah, I thought that part, like the compulsions, was very well done thus far, and I really appreciate the discussion on it because Ophelia says at a certain point in these first couple of chapters that logically, like she knows that it doesn't make sense, but she feels this compulsion to do those things anyway. And I thought it's very well done. Another thing is that apparently their mom took a loan on the house. So now the bank is basically trying to evict them from their house that they had since they were kids, basically. And Ophelia doesn't understand this because she knows from her mom that the house is fully paid off, like it's been in their family for centuries. And so something just lit up and I don't know what it is. Oh, it's my Kobo turning off. Okay. Yeah, it's just kind of weird. She goes to the bank to see all of the like legal documents that her mom signed and stuff like that. And she can see from the very first page that that is not her mom's signature and that they were forged. When she discusses these things with Genevieve, Ophelia knows right away that Genevieve is the one who did it. She falsified all of those legal papers. So we don't really know what's happening with Genevieve, and we will not find out anytime soon because very soon afterwards she disappears. Well, not really. She basically leaves Ophelia this message saying that she went to be free and to do what's right for her, and she basically is participating in Phantasma, which is a game, but it takes place at the Phantasma Mansion, which is basically known as the Devil's Mansion. And it is very feared upon, and it is just like very frightening. And it's said that in this house lives an insidious devil, and we again like don't really know what's up with that. At this specific moment in the book, the Caraval vibes are very, very strong because in Caraval, if you read it, I will not spoil anything major, but basically in Caraval we have kind of like the same tropes or the same archetypes in the beginning. You have the two sisters, you have their familial ties completely cut off, like they're on their own. And so they have to make ends meet by themselves. You also have the archetype of the eldest daughter who is always very, calculated and very responsible and trying to do what's best, not necessarily for herself, but for her sister as well. So there are like a lot of similarities between Ophelia and Scarlett from Carval. And also, when it comes to the youngest of the siblings, we have Genevieve in Phantasma, and we also have Tessa in Carval, and they are both very free, young, careless, or they seem to be on the surface, right? And I'm pretty sure, I don't know if I remember this correctly, but I'm pretty sure at the beginning of Carval, Scarlett participates to this like Carval game thingy because Tessa is there. So there are a lot of similarities between these two, and I'm very excited to see where Phantasma will go in the end because this just seems so much more dark and adult, and it has this very gothic kind of tone that I really like thus far. So hopefully it will not mellow out, and we will continue on this darker trajectory, if you will. So yeah, hopefully I can read more of this book today, but I will update you either way. So see you when something else happens, I guess.
Turn it up, don't turn it off. Turn me round, put me in my place. From there, I can see it all. So beautiful. The world is turning fast. Got too many plans. But your eyes found mine, and I said, there's a record spinning in my mind. With scratches on the B-side. Your record spinning in my mind. And drop the needle down and dance me to the other side.
Hello again. So it is the next day. I read a good chunk of this book, and unfortunately it just didn't really go where I wanted it to go. And I just feel like nothing really happened thus far. I am currently on chapter 30 something, 39. I am 75% through. through the book, and there's way too many sex scenes, and it's kind of for nothing, if you ask me. But yeah, this was really underwhelming. Like, I was very excited about it in the beginning because we had all of these things relating to necromancy, and we had like a lot of details in the beginning relating to necromancy, and then it all just kind of went downhill from there. I think the last time when I updated you, Ophelia just like entered the competition. She entered Phantasma, the Devil's Mansion. And while she is there, she actually finds out that what Phantasma is and what the game is basically the 9 circles of hell, or the 9 levels of hell. Up until chapter 39, we went through 5 levels of hell, and the quests, let's say, and the missions that we went on, they're just not that exciting. And there's also this weird thing, like usually when I'm reading something like this, I can picture how the environment looks and how these trials basically that they have to go through look like, and the mechanics of them and stuff like that. But this time around, it's just all kind of confusing. So, because I took some notes, the 5 circles of hell that we went through thus far are limbo, lust, greed, gluttony, and wrath. And they were all, I think, very simple. Like, our main character managed to go through all of these trials very, very easily with the help of Blackwell, who is a phantom, or like a ghost that she strikes a bargain with at the beginning, well, very early on in the book. And because of that bargain, Blackwell is able to help her through all of these trials, and it just seems like a bit too convenient. Obviously, there's like another level to it in terms of like romance and stuff like that, but it just seems like she should have worked even more for it, if that makes sense. As I was saying, the sex scenes are a lot. They start to be like very, very frequent, and I don't know how I feel about that. Also, at some points, I think I was midway through the book, and there's this sex scene that is so cringe. Like, I was laughing my ass off, but in the same time, I was kind of, I don't know, like, this is kind of yucky. But yeah, I just don't know where this is going to go. I have a suspicion, without like spoiling anything, obviously, but in this game, if you will, in this mansion, a lot of secrets about Ophelia's family's past and about Genevieve and Tessie and their father start unraveling, basically, as you would expect. And so Ophelia is very hurt by the fact that the people in her life that she trusted most, her mom and her sister, did not, quote unquote, like trust her enough to tell her all of these secrets. Again, it's it's a bit iffy. We also have a cat named Poe, I believe. And this cat makes an appearance very early on in the book, and then we kind of forget about it. And now it just like made an appearance again. I don't know if it's going to be relevant for the story or not, but I guess I'll find out. Also, Blackwell has this pet name for Ophelia, our main character, that is driving me absolutely nuts. He is calling her Angel, and he just uses that a lot, and it just starts to become very, very like repetitive and frustrating very early on. So I'm just kind of annoyed with that, I guess. This is not horrible by any means, but I just wished this was like even darker and even more focused on like the necromantic gothic aspects of the story. There are obviously a lot of deaths because, again, this is a game and we have a lot of contestants and stuff like that. But because we only know Ophelia, and at a certain point some other characters as well, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that we don't really know the other characters well enough to feel that bad for them. Like, okay, they died, and at the end of the day they didn't feel like they were that relevant for the story, so I guess they don't matter. Maybe they're just put there to make our main character feel bad when she's murdering them or killing them or defeating them in like one of the trials and stuff like that. It's fine. It's not amazing. It's not really bad either. So I guess it will all come down to the last like 25% to see exactly what's going on with Phantasma. I want to go outside. It is currently 8:30 in the morning, roughly, and I woke up really early this morning. I think I woke up at like 5 something. And I said that I'm gonna read for a bit and then I'm gonna go outside, but obviously that didn't happen because I'm still in my house, as you can see. So yeah, I wanted to just like update you, and then I wanted to go for a walk, maybe have another coffee, and just like do something else other than reading for some time, even though I will bring my Kobo with me to see if I will read more of this book in this morning. Also, I think you saw me yesterday crocheting. I did this little case covering thingy for my Kobo because I didn't have anything this small for it, and so this fits perfectly into this case that I made. It just like took me 2 hours, I think, and for the moment it's fine. It will do. I wanted to put like a little button thingy here, but I just didn't have any, so I guess I'm gonna leave it at that for the moment. I don't really like how this top part turned out. I think I just needed some smaller granny squares for this part, but it is what it is. It's gonna do for now. Something else before I leave you. So I evolved my Tamagotchi, just like evolved this morning into the correct, I think it's the young stage currently, and I'm very happy about that. I also want to leave it with the Tamasitter for today because I'm not gonna bring this one with me when I go out, but yeah, this is how it currently looks like if my camera wants to focus on the screen. I don't know if you can see that well, but yeah, this is how the young looks like. And if we're looking at this microscopic level thingy, this is so hard to do in my viewfinder, but I'm gonna try to do it. So as you can see, I have the correct species, I guess it's called, for Pochichi. So yeah, I will see how it's gonna go. I also have the correct like care mistakes for it because currently I only have one and I only need one for Pochichi. So I will just have to make sure that it doesn't get like hungry or unhappy or something like that any further on. So that's why I want to leave it with the sitter today. So let's do this again. I'm gonna try to see, oops, I forget, it's the other way around. So help, and then Tamasitter, and then it asks if I want to pay 300 Tama points, Gachi points, whatever they're called. And yes, and now the sitter came to take care of my Tama.
Sitting in the basement of
So it is much later in the same day, and I finished Phantasma, and I wanted to update the vlog with my thoughts and opinions overall with this book. It is not as bad as I thought it's going to be, but the ending is still not my favorite, and I think this is kind of like an overall opinion, if you will, when it comes to this book, that it's just not my favorite. It's not bad, but it's not amazing either. The ending specifically, I appreciated aspects of it, but then on the other side of things, I thought that this specific ending, and specifically what happened in the last couple of chapters, kind of negated our main character's actions very early on in this book, or I should say that she doesn't really feel that autonomous, and it just feels like all of her life was kind of like orchestrated for her to reach this specific point, and I don't necessarily love that. I think we got a hint at the end of the book as to what enchantra might entail, and I'm curious to see if my hunch is correct. So I want to read the blurb for enchantra next. So the blurb for this one says, Ready or Not meets Throne of the Fallen. I think Ready or Not is also like a book series, potentially. Throne of the Fallen, I know for a fact it is a book series because I've seen it in the bookstore previously, but I never read either of these. So Ready or Not meets Throne of the Fallen in a spicy enemies to lovers fantasy romance where an Italian getaway turns deadly after a young woman is trapped in her host family's cursed game. Ready or Not, the game has begun. Genevieve Grimm has felt adrift ever since her sister became the head of the family. So when a mysterious friend of their mother's invites her to Italy, she accepts. She arrives at his grand palace expecting passion and magic, decadence and luxury, perhaps even a midnight ball. She doesn't expect the owner's ruthlessly handsome son to slam the door in her face. Rowan Silver is tall, dark, and exceptionally rude, and invitation or not, he demands Genevieve leave and never come back. But Genevieve follows nobody's orders, especially those of arrogant rich boys. She slips inside and immediately discovers her mistake. Rowan and his family are caught in an insidious game of hide and seek where only one can win. The rest will be trapped in hell until the competition begins again. Genevieve must either join the hunt or forfeit any hope of escaping. But to her dismay, her best chance of survival lies with Rowan. Since lovers may play as a pair, Rowan and Genevieve agree to form an alliance under the guise of a fake courtship. Courtship? What era is this? However, as they race through the game's elaborate labyrinth, trapped among gleaming gold and shining marble, their loathing gives way to irresistible attraction. Only Rowan is keeping secrets, especially when it comes to his ruthless family, and Genevieve can't help but wonder if she's trapped in two treacherous games, Enchantra and the one Rowan is playing with her heart. This is a very weird angle, and I'm not entirely sure if you can hear me properly because there's like a lot of noise. But I went for a stroll this morning. I went to have another cup of coffee, and I am also 33 or 34% into Enchantra. So I wanted to update you with my first kind of like impressions and thoughts and opinions about this book. So I am happy to report that thus far it is much better than Phantasma. I also feel like the writing is even better, so I'm happy about that, obviously. The game in the book is more so like a reality TV competition, but it is quite literally broadcasted into hell, so the stakes are already even higher. And um, yeah, so far so good. I really like the development of our characters. I think in the first book, Genevieve made an appearance at the beginning and at the end, and then she kind of disappeared in the middle of it, and we only followed Ophelia, which, again, not my favorite thing, but this second book is on the right track for me. Genevieve goes to Italy. While she was looking at her mom's things, she sees this photo of Tessie Grimm, their mom, and this gentleman that they don't really know. And the coincidence is that this gentleman actually invited Tessie to his mansion in Italy, Enchantra Mansion, on a specific day. Genevieve is very late, so she doesn't arrive at that specific date. She arrives later, and when she arrives there, she encounters this very rude young guy who just like smashes the door of the house in her face. And so, because she's very determined and also kind of pissed off that she was just like ignored, she finds a way, without spoiling anything, she finds a way to get into the house. But unfortunately for her, she very soon finds out that she was not allowed into the house because this is the only day in the year when Enchantra Mansion is pretty much protected by these enchantments, by these spells performed by a very powerful demon. And we also find out what exactly is this family's secret, if you will. Their father, who was the gentleman in the photo with Tessie, with Genevieve's mom, this gentleman is the familiar to a very powerful demon. And so they are kind of under this demon's control or troll, if you will, and they are obligated to participate in this yearly competition in Chantra to save someone. And I think I will just leave it at that. I found quite interesting the idea that this mansion is just like covered in mirrors, and these mirrors are quite literally broadcasting this competition into hell, and the creatures from hell are placing bets on who they think is going to win this competition. Also, a very important loophole is that this family has to participate in this competition by themselves, but the catch is that if their partner is also in the house, they also have to participate as a pair. So if they win, then they will win together. And so, because Genevieve is quite literally hostage in this mansion and she cannot escape because of the spells, the words, whatever they are, she has to marry that very rude guy who smashed the door into her face, which is very funny and unfortunate for her. But something's going on between them. So yeah, 34% into the book. The competition just starts at this point, and that's why I wanted to stop from reading for the moment and to just update you guys as well. I quite like this one thus far, and hopefully it will not just reach that very boring level that Phantasma reached in the middle. So yeah, I want to read more from this one today, and I'll see when something else happens that I think is worth updating you with. So see you then. I did finish Enchantra, and this was so much better than the first book, than Phantasma. With the second book, with the sequel, which is Enchantra, everything was miles better. Well, I'm kind of exaggerating, but also kind of not. Like, I liked the dynamics between the characters. I like the whole kind of like reality TV competition aspect of it. I like the fact that we are just like thrust into the middle of the action, and Genevieve kind of has to go with the flow and assess what's really the best course of action in her situation. And yeah, it was great. You have a large family, you have hidden motivations, you have all of these just like machinations in between all of the members of this family, and it was highly enjoyable. I also thought that the separate missions, or like the trials, were clever and well done, and they made sense. And the plot twist at the end gooped and gagged because I was not expecting that, but I quite appreciated how it ended, and the new journey that these characters will have to embark on in the third installment of the series, which I think is going to be published toward the end of the year. The third book is called Demonica, and after reading Enchantra, I now know what that is. Without giving anything away, Demonica is a secret society, and I will leave it at that. But as someone who really, really likes books about secret societies like Ninth House and oh my god, like The Secret History and so on, I am so hyped for the third installment of this series. Something else that I would like to highlight with these two books. So, after reading them back to back, the difference in pacing between them is so glaringly obvious. Like, Phantasma is on the slower side, but Enchantra just like races through everything, and I think this element worked really well with the setup and this specific cast of characters. I quite enjoyed that. The last thing that I think I want to mention about Enchantra is that we got to spend a little bit of time in hell this time around, and I was very excited for that. Even though we don't have like a lot of details or anything like that, I was just happy to be there with these characters and to experience a bit of the cunningness of the devils, let's say. So yeah, this was very enjoyable, and I am so happy that I finally got to this series. I thought that it's going to be a bit disappointing after reading the first one, not gonna lie, but now with Enchantra, we're back on track, and I'm looking forward to the third installment of this series. And with that, we reached the conclusion and the ending of this video. Thank you guys so much for spending some time with me. Like, subscribe if you want to support me and the channel. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, let me know in the comments down below if you read these books, what was your experience with them, and I guess I'll see you in the next video here on the channel. Bye everyone!